What if you possessed the power to bend time itself and found yourself standing alongside Monkey D. Luffy as the newest Straw Hat pirate? Picture yourself wielding the legendary Toki Toki no Mi, the Time fruit, with abilities that could reshape the very fabric of reality around Egghead Island. The world government's most elite assassins, CP0, are closing in on Dr. Vegapunk and his revolutionary discoveries, but you hold the key to altering this dire timeline. In this alternate reality, you're not just a bystander to history, you're the temporal guardian who will stand between the Straw Hats and annihilation. Join us on this incredible journey through an alternate timeline where your choices and powers will determine whether Egghead Island becomes humanity's greatest triumph or its most devastating loss. The clock is ticking, and only you can turn back the tide of fate. The morning sun casts long shadows across Egghead Island's gleaming dome as you feel the familiar tingle of temporal energy coursing through your veins. You've been traveling with the Thousand Sunny for only 3 weeks since that fateful encounter on Sphinx Island, where Marco the Phoenix himself recognized the dormant power within you, the same power that once belonged to Toki Toki. The Toki Toki no Mi pulses with ancient energy in your chest, still largely untamed, still learning to respond to your will. Yo ho ho ho! Our newest Nakama seems deep in thought. Brook's cheerful voice breaks through your contemplation as the skeleton musician approaches with his usual spring in his step. Are you perhaps nervous about meeting the legendary Dr. Vegapunk? You turn toward him, managing a smile despite the growing unease that's been building since you first spotted Egghead's distinctive silhouette on the horizon. Something feels wrong about this place. Not the island itself, but the timeline surrounding it. Your devil fruit abilities have been growing stronger each day, and with that growth comes an increasingly acute awareness of temporal disturbances. Right now, the very air around Egghead seems to shimmer with the weight of impending catastrophe. Brook, have you ever felt like you were exactly where you needed to be at exactly the right moment? You ask, watching as Nami expertly guides the ship toward the island's docking facilities. Ah, the beautiful philosophy of destiny. Brook laughs, though there's something knowing in his hollow eye sockets. Though I suspect your question runs deeper than mine ever could, considering your unique circumstances. Before you can respond, Luffy's excited shouts echo across the ship's deck. Woo! Look at all those crazy machines! Hey, Frankie, are you seeing this? It's like your workshop, but a million times cooler. Frankie himself stands speechless at the ship's bow, his sunglasses reflecting the incredible technological marvels that make up Egghead's landscape. Towering mechanical structures rise like metallic trees, their surfaces gleaming with an otherworldly brilliance that speaks to scientific advancement beyond anything you've ever imagined. Even from this distance, you can see robots moving with purposeful precision, their movements too fluid and intelligent to be mere automata. As the Sunny draws closer to the docking bay, your temporal senses suddenly flare with violent intensity. The peaceful morning atmosphere shatters like glass in your mind as you perceive the threads of fate converging on this moment with terrifying clarity. Multiple timelines branch out before your inner vision, most of them ending in fire, blood, and the destruction of everything Vegapunk has worked to create. Everyone stop! The words leave your mouth before you can think, your voice carrying an authority that surprises even you. The entire crew turns toward you, and you feel the weight of their trust pressing down on your shoulders. There's danger approaching. I can feel it in the timeline, multiple threats converging on this location within the next few hours. Zoro's hand instinctively moves to his sword hilts. What kind of danger? You close your eyes, letting your devil fruit abilities expand outward like an invisible web, touching the edges of probability and causation. The images that flood your mind make your blood run cold. Sleek government ships approaching from the south, their hulls bearing the distinctive markings of Cypherpole. Mechanical giants with faces you recognize from wanted posters. And beneath it all, the unmistakable presence of Admiral Kizaru's light-speed power signature. CP0, you whisper, opening your eyes to meet Luffy's concerned gaze. They're coming for Vegapunk, and they're bringing Seraphim with them. We have maybe 30 minutes before they reach the island. The silence that follows your announcement is deafening. Then Luffy's expression shifts from concern to that familiar, dangerous grin that has struck fear into the hearts of Marines across the Grand Line. She sounds like we're gonna have some fun. He turns to address the entire crew. You heard our new nakama? If government jerks are coming to mess with the old scientist guy, then we're gonna make sure they regret it. Luffy. Robin's calm voice carries a note of strategic thinking. If CP0 is truly approaching with Seraphim support, this won't be an ordinary battle. We should consider evacuation protocols for Dr. Vegapunk and his research. You feel a surge of gratitude toward Robin for immediately grasping the tactical implications. Ever since joining the crew, you've noticed how she seems to understand the weight of protecting knowledge and the people who possess it. There's a kinship there, born from similar experiences of being hunted by the world government. Robin's right, you say, stepping forward as temporal energy begins to visibly shimmer around your hands like heat waves. But I think I can buy us more time than 30 minutes. My powers, they're still growing, but I can manipulate localized time fields. If I can slow down their approach while we evacuate Vegapunk? No. Luffy's voice is firm, and when you look at him, you see the unwavering determination that has carried him through every impossible battle. We don't run from fights, especially when innocent people are in danger. Besides, his grin widens. I want to see what our time-controlling nakama can really do. The trust in his voice sends a warm surge through your chest. This is what you've been searching for your entire life. Not just acceptance, but a captain who believes in your strength even when you're not sure you believe in it yourself. As the Thousand Sunny completes its approach to Egghead's docking bay, you can already see several of Vegapunk's satellite bodies rushing toward the harbor. Shaka, Atlas, and Edison move with urgent purpose, their faces grave with the weight of impending crisis. Straw Hat Crew, Shaka calls out as soon as you're within hearing distance. We've detected multiple government vessels approaching the island. Dr. Vegapunk requests immediate assistance with evacuation protocols. Actually, you step forward, feeling the familiar sensation of temporal energy building within your core. I think we might have a better solution. Without waiting for permission, you leap from the ship's deck to the dock below, landing gracefully as time itself seems to slow around you. The Toki Toki no Mi responds to your will, and suddenly the air fills with visible distortions, ripples in reality that make the approaching government ships appear to move through thick honey rather than open ocean. Incredible, Edison breathes, his mechanical sensors undoubtedly detecting the temporal anomalies you're creating. You're actually manipulating the flow of time itself. You nod, though the effort of maintaining such a wide area effect is already beginning to strain your abilities. I can give us maybe an hour of real time before they break through the temporal field, but we need to use that time wisely. Luffy lands beside you with his characteristic impact, crater-forming enthusiasm. That's our nakama, always thinking ahead. He turns to address both the Straw Hats and Vegapunk's satellites. All right, everyone, we've got an hour to get ready for the biggest fight of our lives. Let's make it count. As your temporal field solidifies around Egghead Island, creating a protective bubble where time moves at your command, you feel something you haven't experienced since eating the Toki Toki no Mi, complete confidence in your abilities. For the first time, you're not afraid of the power coursing through your veins. You're exactly where you need to be, with exactly the people who need your help. The battle for Egghead Island is about to begin, and you're ready to show the world government what happens when they threaten your new family. The interior of Vegapunk's laboratory feels like stepping into the future itself. Crystalline computers hum with quiet efficiency while holographic displays project complex equations that seem to dance through the air around you. But despite the technological marvels surrounding you, your attention remains focused on the ancient tomes spread across the central research table, and on Robin, whose gentle fingers trace the faded text with scholarly reverence. These symbols, she murmurs, her voice carrying that particular tone of intellectual fascination you've come to recognize. They're not from any known language in the current world, but the temporal mathematics described here, they match the energy patterns I've observed from your abilities. You lean closer, studying the archaic script that seems to shimmer and shift before your eyes. Ever since activating your temporal field around Egghead Island, you've felt a strange resonance with these ancient writings, as if they're speaking directly to the devil fruit power within you. Can you read it? You ask, though part of you already knows the answer. Robin's archaeological expertise extends far beyond what most people realize. encompassing not just the poneglyphs but countless other fragments of lost history. Some of it, she admits, turning the page with careful precision. This appears to be a research journal belonging to someone who possessed abilities remarkably similar to yours. Listen to this passage. The burden of temporal sight grows heavier with each passing day. To see all possible futures is to carry the weight of infinite responsibility. Yet I have found that the greatest power lies not in controlling time itself, but in choosing which moments deserve to be preserved. A chill runs down your spine as Robin's words resonate with fears you've carried since first awakening your devil fruit abilities. The constant awareness of branching timelines, the knowledge of what could go wrong, the terrible responsibility of deciding when to intervene. It's a burden you've struggled with alone until now. Robin, you begin, then pause, uncertain how to articulate the growing anxiety that's been building within you. What if I make the wrong choice? What if using my powers to help everyone here actually makes things worse in the long run? She looks up from the ancient text, and in her dark eyes you see an understanding that goes deeper than mere sympathy. This is someone who has lived with the weight of dangerous knowledge, who has been hunted precisely because of what she knows and represents. I used to ask myself similar questions, she says softly, closing the tome and giving you her complete attention. When you possess knowledge or abilities that can change the course of history, the fear of making the wrong choice can be paralyzing. But I've learned something important through my time with this crew. What's that? The Straw Hats don't follow Luffy because he always makes the right choices. They follow him because he makes choices with his whole heart, trusting that his nakama will be there to help him face whatever consequences arise. She places a gentle hand on your shoulder. You're not carrying this burden alone anymore. Before you can respond, the laboratory's communication system crackles to life with Nami's voice. Everyone, we've got a problem. The temporal field is working, but we're detecting some kind of interference. The government ships are starting to push through faster than expected. You feel it immediately. The strain on your devil fruit abilities as something powerful begins to disrupt your temporal manipulation. Through the laboratory's windows, you can see the distortion field around the island beginning to flicker and waver like a candle flame in the wind. That's Admiral Kizaru, you realize with growing dread. His light speed abilities are creating temporal friction against my powers. I can't maintain the field much longer. Robin's expression becomes immediately tactical. Then we need to accelerate our research. If this journal contains information about advanced temporal techniques, it might hold the key to strengthening your abilities. You nod, feeling the urgency of the situation pressing down on both of you. Together, you lean over the ancient text as Robin's fingers trace the faded symbols with renewed purpose. The next passage she translates sends electricity through your entire body. Through communion with trusted allies, the temporal wielder may achieve resonance beyond individual limitation. When heart connects to heart in shared purpose, the boundaries of time itself become malleable. This is the secret of awakening. Not solitary mastery, but unified intention. Awakening. You breathe, recognizing the term from stories you've heard about the most powerful devil fruit users. Robin, I think this is describing how to awaken the Toki Toki no Mi through emotional bonds rather than traditional training. It makes sense, she agrees, her archaeological mind already piecing together the implications. Your devil fruit doesn't just manipulate time, it connects moments across history. What if the key to unlocking its full potential lies in connecting deeply with the people around you? As if summoned by your conversation, Luffy's voice echoes through the laboratory as he bursts through the entrance with his characteristic enthusiasm. Hey, how's the research going? We're gonna need all the help we can get. Zoro spotted some really scary-looking ships getting closer. Behind him, you can see the rest of the crew taking defensive positions throughout Vegapunk's compound. Sanji's preparing emergency rations while Chopper organizes medical supplies. Usopp and Frankie work together to reinforce critical systems. Everyone moving with the seamless coordination of a family that's faced impossible odds before. Luffy, you say, standing up from the research table with new determination. I think I understand what I need to do, but I'm going to need everyone's help. She, that's what Nakama are for. He grins, and in that simple expression you see absolute confidence in your abilities. What do you need? You look around at your crewmates. These incredible people who have accepted you completely despite knowing you for such a short time. Robin with her gentle wisdom, Luffy with his unwavering faith, and through the windows you can see the others preparing to risk their lives for Dr. Vegapunk and his research. "I need you all to trust me completely for the next few minutes," you explain, feeling the ancient knowledge from the journal settling into your understanding like puzzle pieces finding their proper places. "The temporal field around the island is about to collapse, but I think I can create something stronger. Something that doesn't just slow down our enemies, but gives us the tactical advantage we need to win." "You've got it," Luffy responds without hesitation. "Right, Robin?" "Always," she agrees, and the warmth in her voice fills you with courage you didn't know you possessed. Through your devil fruit senses, you can feel Admiral Kizaru's light-speed approach beginning to tear holes in your temporal barrier. The government ships are accelerating toward Egghead Island with renewed urgency, and you estimate maybe 10 minutes before the first CP0 agents set foot on Vegapunk's shores. But for the first time since eating the Toki Toki no Mi, you're not afraid of the responsibility your powers represent. Robin's words echo in your mind. You're not carrying this burden alone anymore. The Straw Hats aren't just your crewmates, they're your family, and you'll do whatever it takes to protect them. "Everyone," you call out, your voice carrying clearly through the laboratory and beyond. "Gather around me. We're about to show the world government what happens when they threaten our Nakama." As your crewmates move closer, you can feel something fundamental shifting within your devil fruit abilities. The temporal energy that has always felt wild and unpredictable suddenly stabilizes, resonating with the heartbeats of the people around you. This is what the ancient journal meant by communion with trusted allies, not just sharing power, but sharing purpose. The real battle for Egghead Island is about to begin, and you're ready to unlock abilities you never dreamed possible. The first explosion rocks Egghead Island just as your enhanced temporal field collapses, sending shockwaves through the crystalline structures of Vegapunk's laboratory. Through the reinforced windows, you watch as sleek government vessels breach the harbor's defenses, their hulls gleaming with the distinctive markings of Cypherpole's most elite division. But it's not the ships themselves that make your blood run cold. It's the figures you can see leaping from their decks with inhuman grace and speed. "CP0, you whisper, recognizing the white-clad forms of Rob Lucci and Kaku even from this distance. But there's something different about them now, something more dangerous than the already formidable assassins you remember from the crew's stories about Eni's lobby. Their movements carry an predatory intensity that seems focused directly on the laboratory where you stand. They're not just here for Vegapunk, Robin observes with the tactical awareness that has kept her alive through years of government pursuit. Look at their approach pattern. They're specifically targeting this building. You extend your temporal senses outward, feeling the threads of causation and probability swirling around the approaching CP0 agents. The sensation that floods your awareness makes you stagger backward in shock. Every possible future timeline shows Lucci and Kaku ignoring the other Straw Hats, ignoring even Vegapunk himself to focus entirely on hunting you down. They know about my abilities, you realize with growing dread. Somehow, the world government has identified me as the primary threat to their mission. Luffy's expression immediately shifts from his usual carefree grin to the dangerous focus he reserves for serious battles. "Let them come. Nobody messes with my Nakama." But before he can charge out to meet the approaching threat, you place a firm hand on his shoulder. The ancient knowledge from Robin's translated journal pulses through your mind, and you understand with crystalline clarity what needs to happen next. "Luffy, I need you to trust me on this," you say, meeting his eyes with steady determination. "They're coming for me specifically, which means I can use that to our advantage. If I can draw them away from the laboratory, you and the others can focus on protecting Vegapunk and dealing with the Seraphim." "No way!" His response is immediate and fierce. "We don't abandon Nakama. That's not how the Straw Hats work." "I'm not asking you to abandon me," you explain, temporal energy already beginning to coalesce around your hands in preparation for what's coming. "I'm asking you to let me do what I do best. Manipulate time and space to give us tactical advantages." Through the laboratory's communication system, Chopper's panicked voice crackles to life. "Everyone, there are these huge mechanical things coming from the south. They look like Mihawk and Hancock, but they're robots." Seraphim. Just as you predicted, the world government has brought their artificial warlords to ensure Egghead Island's complete destruction. But your temporal senses show you something else. something that might turn this desperate situation to your advantage. Robin, you turn to the archaeologist whose wisdom has already proven invaluable. In that journal you translated, was there anything about creating temporal duplicates or displacement echoes? Her eyes widen with understanding. The communion technique we discussed. It mentioned advanced applications including chronological multiplicity and causal displacement. Are you thinking of fighting them in multiple time streams simultaneously? Something like that, you confirm, though the full scope of your plan is still crystallizing in your mind. If I can create temporal displacement fields around myself, I can engage CP0 directly while maintaining presence here to coordinate our defense. The sound of shattering glass interrupts your strategic discussion as Lucci and Kaku burst through the laboratory's main entrance with explosive force. The leopard man's spotted form moves with liquid grace while Kaku's giraffe transformation allows him to strike from impossible angles. Their rokushiki techniques enhanced by years of additional training since Ini's lobby. Time manipulator. Lucci's voice carries the cold professionalism of a perfect predator. By order of the world government, you will surrender yourself for immediate termination. Your abilities represent an unacceptable threat to global stability. You step forward, placing yourself between the CP0 agents and your crewmates. Temporal energy flows through your body like liquid lightning, and for the first time since eating the Toki Toki no Mi, you feel completely in control of your powers. Sorry, you reply with a confidence that surprises even you, but I've got a better idea. Time dilates around you as you activate advanced temporal manipulation techniques that you somehow understand perfectly, despite never having attempted them before. The world slows to a crawl from your perspective, but instead of simply accelerating your own movements, you begin to exist in multiple temporal states simultaneously. Lucci's Shigan thrust passes harmlessly through what appears to be your chest, but you're already moving in a different time stream, striking at his exposed flank with temporal enhanced force. Kaku's Renkyaku wind blade slices the air where you were standing, but you're simultaneously attacking from his blind spot in an accelerated time pocket. Impossible, Kaku snarls, his elongated neck allowing him to track your movements across multiple temporal planes. No devil fruit should allow for chronological multiplicity. You're right, you acknowledge, dodging Lucci's Rokugan with a simple sidestep that exists in 3 different moments simultaneously. But the Toki Toki no Mi isn't just any devil fruit, and I'm not fighting alone. As if summoned by your words, Luffy appears behind Lucci with his fist already drawn back for a devastating Gomu Gomu no pistol. The leopard man barely manages to dodge, his Kami-E technique allowing him to flow like paper around the rubber attack. I told you, Luffy grins with dangerous enthusiasm. Nobody messes with my Nakama. The laboratory erupts into chaos as Robin's Hana Hana no Mi creates dozens of arms to restrain Kaku, while you continue your temporal assault on Lucci. But your enhanced senses detect something troubling. More government forces approaching the island, including the unmistakable light speed signature of Admiral Kizaru himself. Everyone, we need to end this quickly, you shout, creating a temporal barrier that deflects Lucci's desperate Rokugan attack. I can sense Admiral Kizaru approaching, and once he arrives, my time manipulation abilities will be severely compromised. Lucci's eyes narrow with predatory focus as he realizes the implications of your warning. So that's your weakness. Light speed movement creates temporal friction against your abilities. Very interesting information to report back to headquarters. You're not reporting anything, you declare, channeling every ounce of your devil fruit power into a technique you instinctively understand but have never attempted before. Temporal prison. Infinite moment. Reality fractures around Lucci as you trap him in a localized time loop, each second of his existence repeating endlessly while the rest of the world continues to move forward. It's an incredibly taxing technique, but it effectively removes CP0's most dangerous agent from the immediate battle. Kaku, witnessing his partner's sudden imprisonment in temporal stasis, abandons his attack on Robin to focus entirely on you. Release him immediately, or I'll make your death significantly more painful. Kaku, Robin's voice carries a note of archaeological authority. You should know that threatening a straw hat in front of their captain is never a wise decision. The giraffe man turns just in time to see Luffy's Gear Second activate, steam rising from his body as his enhanced speed carries him across the laboratory in an instant. The resulting Gomu Gomu no jet pistol sends Kaku crashing through 3 walls before finally coming to rest in what used to be Vegapunk's secondary research facility. But even as you celebrate this small victory, your temporal senses detect the approaching storm. Admiral Kizaru's light-speed abilities are already beginning to create interference patterns in the local time stream, and you can feel your advanced techniques becoming increasingly difficult to maintain. "We've bought ourselves some time," you announce, releasing the temporal prison around Lucci, but maintaining enough chronological displacement to keep him disoriented. But this is just the beginning. The real battle is about to start. Through the shattered windows of the laboratory, you can see the Seraphim beginning their assault on Egghead Island's outer defenses. Mechanical versions of former warlords move with terrible efficiency, their artificial devil fruit abilities creating devastation wherever they strike. But you're no longer afraid. Standing beside your Nakama, with Robin's wisdom guiding your understanding, and Luffy's unwavering faith supporting your courage, you feel ready to face whatever the world government can throw at you. The hunter has indeed become the hunted, but you're about to show CP0 and their government masters that cornering a Straw Hat pirate was their first and final mistake. The golden light of Admiral Kizaru's approach cuts through Egghead Island's artificial atmosphere like a blade through silk. From your position in the devastated laboratory, you can feel his Pika Pika no Mi abilities creating massive distortions in the local time stream. Ripples of temporal friction that make your own devil fruit powers feel sluggish and unpredictable. Each pulse of light-speed movement from the Admiral sends waves of interference through your temporal manipulation, like trying to swim upstream against an impossible current. The evacuation is almost complete. Vegapunk's voice crackles through the emergency communication system, his tone carrying both gratitude and urgent concern. But I need at least 10 more minutes to secure the most critical research data. If the world government obtains my Void Century discoveries, you don't need him to finish that sentence. Through Robin's archaeological expertise, you've learned enough about the true history hidden by the world government to understand what's at stake. This isn't just about protecting a brilliant scientist. It's about preserving knowledge that could reshape the entire world's understanding of its own past. 10 minutes, you repeat, feeling the weight of that seemingly small time frame. With Kizaru's light-speed abilities constantly disrupting your temporal fields, maintaining any kind of defensive strategy for that long seems impossible. But as you look around at your crewmates, Luffy helping Chopper tend to injured Vegapunk satellites, Robin coordinating evacuation routes, Zoro and Sanji taking defensive positions against the approaching Seraphim, you realize that impossible has never stopped the Straw Hats before. "I can do it," you announce, stepping toward the laboratory's shattered main entrance. "But I'll need to use techniques I've never attempted before. The temporal backlash could be dangerous," Luffy interrupts with his characteristic grin, though you can see the serious concern in his eyes. "So what? We're pirates. Everything we do is dangerous." His simple confidence sends warmth flooding through your chest, but it's Robin's gentle touch on your shoulder that truly steels your resolve. The ancient journal mentioned something about temporal resonance amplification through willing sacrifice, she says quietly. "I think it means that the most powerful temporal techniques require putting your own life force into the time stream itself." You nod, understanding the implications immediately. What you're about to attempt will push your devil fruit abilities far beyond their current limits, potentially burning out your own life energy in the process. But looking at the people around you, this incredible family who has accepted you so completely, you know there's no other choice. "Everyone!" you call out, temporal energy already beginning to build around you in visible waves of distorted air. "I'm going to create a temporal fortress around the entire research facility. It will slow down time for anyone trying to enter while keeping normal flow for everyone inside, but maintaining that kind of wide area effect against Kizaru's interference. Will require everything you've got," Robin finishes, her archaeological mind immediately grasping the tactical implications. "You're talking about using your own temporal existence as an anchor point." "Something like that," you confirm, though even you're not entirely certain of the mechanics involved. The ancient knowledge flowing through your mind feels both familiar and completely alien, as if you're remembering techniques from a life you never lived. Outside the laboratory, the sound of approaching destruction grows louder. Seraphim Mihawk's massive sword techniques carve through Egghead's defensive structures, like they're made of paper, while Seraphim Hancock's love abilities turn the island's automated defenses against each other. But it's the steady pulse of golden light growing brighter on the horizon that truly concerns you. Admiral Kizaru, moving at speeds that make your temporal manipulation feel clumsy and inadequate. Time's up, you declare, stepping out onto the laboratory's observation deck. The sight that greets you would be breathtaking under different circumstances. Egghead Island spread out below like a technological marvel, its crystalline structures reflecting the morning sun in countless brilliant facets. But now those same structures are cracking under the assault of artificial warlords, and you can see government ships surrounding the island like a noose drawing tight. You take a deep breath, centering yourself in the way Robin's translated journal described. Temporal energy flows through your body like liquid starlight, but this time, instead of simply manipulating the time stream around you, you begin to weave your own life force directly into the fabric of causality itself. The transformation is immediate and overwhelming. Your perception of time expands beyond anything you've experienced before, allowing you to see not just the present moment, but layers upon layers of possible futures, radiating outward like branches on an infinite tree. In some timelines, Vegapunk escapes safely, but his research is destroyed. In others, the Straw Hats fight valiantly but are overwhelmed by superior numbers. But there, shining like a golden thread through the chaos, you can see the path to victory, narrow, dangerous, requiring precise timing and absolute sacrifice, but possible. Temporal Fortress, eternal moment, you shout, pouring your very essence into the technique. Reality bends around Egghead Island as your advanced temporal manipulation takes hold. From your perspective, everything continues at normal speed, but you can see the government forces suddenly moving as if trapped in thick amber. Seraphim attacks that should take seconds now require minutes to complete. Admiral Kizaru's light-speed approach slows to a barely perceptible crawl, his photon-based movement creating beautiful but harmless light trails across the sky. But the cost is immediate and devastating. You can feel years of your lifespan burning away like fuel in a furnace, your temporal existence serving as the anchor that keeps the fortress stable, despite Kizaru's overwhelming interference. The ancient journal's warnings echo in your mind. This technique was never meant to be used by someone so young, so inexperienced with the deeper mysteries of time manipulation. I can hold this for maybe 5 minutes of subjective time, you gasp, falling to one knee as the strain threatens to overwhelm you. That should give us enough real-world time for the evacuation, but you're killing yourself to do it, Robin finishes, her voice carrying a pain that matches the ache in your chest. She kneels beside you, her gentle hands helping to steady your shaking form. There has to be another way. There is, you whisper, looking up at her with eyes that you know are beginning to show the temporal strain, irises flickering between different moments like broken kaleidoscopes. But it requires someone I trust completely to help me channel the energy differently. The journal mentions something about shared temporal resonance, but I've never attempted anything like that before. Without hesitation, Robin places her hands over yours. Tell me what to do. The connection is immediate and electric. Through Robin's touch, you can feel her unwavering determination, her intellectual curiosity, and beneath it all, the gentle warmth of someone who has found her place in the world after years of searching. More importantly, you can feel her mind beginning to resonate with your temporal abilities, her archaeological experience with ancient mysteries allowing her to understand the deeper patterns of causation and probability. Together, you breathe, feeling the crushing weight of maintaining the temporal fortress beginning to ease as Robin shares the burden. We can hold this as long as necessary. Through your enhanced perception, you watch as the evacuation proceeds with desperate efficiency. Vegapunk satellites move like ghosts through the slowed time stream, gathering critical research data while the government forces remain trapped in temporal amber. Luffy and the other Straw Hats take defensive positions, ready to face whatever breaks through your barriers. But you know this is only the beginning. Even with Robin's help, you can feel the temporal fortress beginning to strain against Admiral Kizaru's relentless interference. The real test will come when your barriers finally fall and the full force of the world government's assault crashes down on Egghead Island. Whatever happens next, you tell Robin, feeling her strength flowing through the connection between you. Thank you for helping me become who I needed to be. Thank you, she replies with a smile that carries the warmth of dawn breaking over a dark horizon, for giving me another reason to believe in the future. The moment your temporal fortress finally shatters, reality explodes back into full speed with the force of a tsunami. Admiral Kizaru's golden form materializes in the laboratory center like a living star, his light-speed approach having finally overcome even your most advanced temporal barriers. But it's not the Admiral himself that makes your blood freeze. It's the figure standing beside him, a CP0 agent whose white mask bears the distinctive markings of the organization's supreme commander. Temporal anomaly designated as priority target. The masked commander speaks with mechanical precision, his voice carrying none of the casual cruelty you've come to expect from government agents. This is something far more dangerous, a professional killer who views your existence as nothing more than a problem to be solved. Admiral Kizaru, maintain light speed interference. I will handle direct termination. You struggle to your feet, still reeling from the backlash of your shattered temporal fortress, but Robin's steady presence beside you provides the anchor you need to focus. Through your enhanced senses, you can perceive the threads of causality converging on this moment with terrifying clarity. Every possible future now depends on the next few minutes of combat. Scary. Kizaru drawls in his characteristic slow speech pattern, golden light beginning to coalesce around his fingertips. A devil fruit user who can manipulate time itself. The world government was right to classify you as an extinction-level threat. But before either government agent can attack, Luffy's voice cuts through the tension like a blade. You want to fight my Nakama? Then you'll have to go through me first. The captain of the Straw Hats drops from the laboratory's upper level, his body already showing the telltale signs of Gear 4th activation. Muscles expand with hockey-enhanced rubber as steam rises from his form, transforming him into the living embodiment of unstoppable determination that has carried him through every impossible battle. Gomu Gomu no. Luffy's fist draws back, compressed air gathering around his knuckles with devastating potential. Kong Gun. Admiral Kizaru responds with casual precision, his light-speed movement allowing him to dodge Luffy's attack while simultaneously firing laser beams that force the rubber pirate to twist through impossible aerial maneuvers. The two titans of power clash above your head, their battle sending shockwaves through the already damaged laboratory. But it's the CP0 commander who concerns you most. Even with Luffy engaging Kizaru, the masked assassin moves toward you with the inexorable advance of death itself. His presence seems to create dead zones in the local time stream, areas where your temporal manipulation simply fails to function, as if his very existence negates the flow of causality around him. Fascinating, he observes, studying you with the cold interest of a scientist examining a specimen. The reports suggested you possessed Toki Toki's devil fruit abilities, but your temporal signature is far more complex than historical records indicated. You're not just manipulating time, you're rewriting the fundamental structure of causality itself. And that scares the world government enough to send their best assassins after me, you reply, temporal energy beginning to build around your hands despite the interference created by his presence. What exactly are you afraid I might discover? The commander's laugh is like ice cracking under pressure. Discovery? Child, you misunderstand the situation entirely. We're not here to prevent you from learning something new. We're here to eliminate you before you remember something old. His words send a chill through your entire being, but before you can demand an explanation, the assassin explodes into motion. His combat style is unlike anything you've encountered. Not the raw power of Lucci's Rokushiki techniques, or the light-speed elegance of Kizaru's abilities, but something that seems to exist outside the normal flow of cause and effect. His attacks arrive before he throws them. His defensive movements begin before you've decided how to strike. Temporal combat arts. Robin breathes from her position behind a fallen piece of laboratory equipment, her archaeological knowledge apparently extending to even the most secret government techniques. He's using some kind of causality manipulation that predates the current world government. Where did they find someone with those abilities? You don't have time to answer her question because the commander's next attack nearly takes your head off. Only your instinctive temporal acceleration saves you, allowing you to exist in a faster time stream just long enough to dodge the blow that would have ended your life. But as you counterattack with your own temporal techniques, something extraordinary begins to happen. The strain of maintaining advanced time manipulation under such extreme circumstances pushes your devil fruit abilities beyond their previous limits, and suddenly you can feel the Toki Toki no Mi responding in ways you never imagined possible. Awakening, you whisper, understanding flooding through your mind as your devil fruit power undergoes its fundamental transformation. This is what the ancient journal meant by temporal resonance through shared purpose. Not just manipulating time, but becoming time itself. The change is immediate and overwhelming. Your perception expands to encompass not just the present moment, but every moment that has ever existed or ever could exist. You can see the true history of Egghead Island stretching back through centuries, witness the construction of every building and the dreams of every scientist who has worked here. More importantly, you can see the threads of causality that connect this battle to the larger tapestry of the world's hidden history. Impossible! The CP0 commander snarls, his temporal combat techniques suddenly meeting resistance they were never designed to overcome. Awakened time manipulation should require decades of training. Maybe for someone fighting alone, you reply, feeling Robin's emotional support flowing through your connection, even as Luffy's unwavering faith provides the foundation for your transformed abilities. But I'm not alone. With your newly awakened powers, you can finally see the commander's true nature. Not just a government assassin, but something far older and more dangerous. His ability to exist outside normal causality flows comes from a devil fruit that should have been lost to history, one that allows him to manipulate probability itself rather than time. Toki Toki no Mi, Eternal Moment Revolution, you shout, channeling your awakened abilities into a technique that exists across multiple layers of reality simultaneously. Time fractures around the laboratory as your attack unfolds across past, present, and future. The CP0 commander finds himself fighting not just you, but temporal echoes of every possible version of yourself that could exist in this moment. His probability manipulation struggles to cope with infinite causality branches, all converging on his defeat. Above you, Luffy's battle with Admiral Kizaru reaches its own climax as the rubber pirate's Gear 4th techniques finally find their mark. The Admiral's light-speed movement creates brilliant displays of photon trails across the laboratory ceiling, but even his incredible abilities can't match the pure determination of a captain protecting his nakama. Gomu, Gomu, no King Kong gun! Luffy roars, his final attack carrying enough force to shatter the remaining walls of Vegapunk's laboratory. The impact sends Admiral Kizaru crashing through 3 buildings, before finally coming to rest in the island's central plaza, his golden form flickering like a candle in the wind. But it's your victory over the CP0 commander that truly changes everything. As your awakened temporal techniques finally overwhelm his probability manipulation, you can see the threads of causality reorganizing themselves around Egghead Island, where before every possible future led to destruction and government victory, now new possibilities bloom like flowers after rain, futures where Vegapunk escapes safely, where his research survives to benefit all humanity, where the Straw Hats sail away triumphant. This isn't over, the commander gasps as your temporal prison closes around him, trapping him in a moment that will last until you choose to release it. The world government has contingencies you can't even imagine. Maybe, you acknowledge, feeling the euphoric rush of awakened devil fruit abilities, settling into something more stable and controlled. But right now, that's tomorrow's problem. Today, we won. Through the shattered walls of the laboratory, you can see your crewmates beginning to regroup. The Seraphim have withdrawn in the face of your awakened temporal manipulation, their artificial intelligence apparently programmed to retreat when faced with overwhelming force. Government ships flee toward the horizon, their mission failed and their most elite agents defeated. But more importantly, you can see Dr. Vegapunk and his satellites moving freely through the research facility, gathering the last of their critical data with expressions of wonder and gratitude. The knowledge that could reshape the world's understanding of its own history will survive, protected by the sacrifice and determination of pirates who refuse to let tyranny triumph over truth. Standing beside Robin with Luffy's unconscious but grinning form supported between you, you feel a sense of completion that goes beyond mere victory. This is what it means to be a Straw Hat pirate. To stand against impossible odds for the sake of protecting what matters most, and to find family among the most unlikely companions. The battle for Egghead Island is over, but your journey as the crew's temporal guardian has only just begun. 3 days have passed since the battle that shook Egghead Island to its technological core, and the morning sun now casts gentle light through the repaired windows of what was once Dr. Vegapunk's primary laboratory. The aftermath of your confrontation with CP0 and Admiral Kizaru has transformed not just the island, but your understanding of what it truly means to wield the power of time itself. You stand on the observation deck where you first unleashed your awakened abilities, watching as the Thousand Sunny undergoes final preparations for departure. Frankie works alongside several of Vegapunk's mechanical assistants, integrating some of the Doctor's non-classified innovations into the ship's systems. The sight fills you with quiet satisfaction. Knowledge preserved, technology shared, the future made brighter through cooperation rather than conquest. Reflecting on recent events, Robin's voice carries the gentle warmth that has become such a source of comfort over these past few days. She joins you at the observation rail, her presence immediately settling the last traces of temporal energy that still occasionally flicker around your hands. Something like that, you admit, flexing your fingers and watching as reality seems to shimmer slightly in response to your awakened devil fruit abilities. I keep thinking about what that CP0 commander said, about me remembering something old rather than discovering something new. Do you think he meant the Void Century? Robin considers your question with the scholarly thoughtfulness that first drew you to seek her guidance. Possibly. Your awakened temporal abilities seem to grant you glimpses of historical moments that should be impossible to access. Yesterday, when you described seeing the ancient kingdom's final days, the details you provided aligned perfectly with poneglyph inscriptions I've studied for years. The memory she references still sends chills through your body. During your recovery from the awakening process, your consciousness had briefly touched moments from 800 years ago. Glimpses of a civilization that reached toward the stars, of scientists and dreamers whose work was systematically erased by those who feared what knowledge might bring. The parallels to Dr. Vegapunk's situation were impossible to ignore. The world government isn't just afraid of what I might do with these abilities, you realize, the truth crystallizing in your mind like ice forming on water. They're afraid of what I might reveal about what they've already done. Exactly, Robin agrees, her hand finding yours with gentle reassurance. But that's tomorrow's challenge. Today we celebrate the fact that you've found your place among the crew, and that Vegapunk's research will continue to benefit the world. As if summoned by her words, Luffy's enthusiastic voice echoes across the observation deck as he bounds up the stairs with his characteristic energy. Despite the intense battle with Admiral Kizaru, your captain shows no signs of lasting injury, though you've noticed him occasionally glancing at you with an expression of pride that makes your chest warm with belonging. Hey, there's our time-controlling Nakama! He grins, throwing an arm around your shoulders with casual affection that still catches you off guard after weeks of traveling together. Vegapunk wants to talk to you before we leave, something about a special going-away present. You follow Luffy down into the reconstructed laboratory, where Dr. Vegapunk stands surrounded by holographic displays showing complex temporal mathematics. The genius scientist turns as you approach, his expression carrying a mixture of scientific fascination and profound gratitude. Ah, our temporal guardian! Vegapunk's voice carries genuine warmth despite his typically analytical demeanor. I've been analyzing the residual chronological energy from your awakening, and the implications are extraordinary. Your devil fruit abilities don't just manipulate time. They seem to access what I can only describe as the universe's temporal memory. He gestures to the holographic displays, which show swirling patterns of causality that remind you uncomfortably of the visions you experienced during your awakening. With your permission, I'd like to create a device that can help you control and focus these abilities. Think of it as a temporal compass, something to help you navigate the time stream without losing yourself in infinite possibilities. The offer is both tempting and terrifying. Your awakened abilities have granted you incredible power, but they've also shown you glimpses of futures too numerous and complex to fully comprehend. Having a way to focus that overwhelming flow of temporal information could be invaluable. What's the catch, you ask? Your experience with government scientists making you cautious of anything that seems too good to be true. Vegapunk chuckles at your wariness. No catch. Simply a gift from one researcher to another. You've protected my life's work and preserved knowledge that could benefit all humanity. It seems only fair that I help you master abilities that will undoubtedly play a crucial role in the challenges ahead. He presents you with what appears to be an elegant wristband crafted from some kind of crystalline metal. The device pulses with soft blue light that resonates with your temporal abilities, creating harmony rather than interference. The Chronos Navigator, Vegapunk explains as you carefully examine the device. It will help you differentiate between temporal echoes and actual causality flows, making your awakened abilities more precise and less overwhelming. Consider it my thanks for showing an old scientist that some knowledge is worth fighting for. You slip the device onto your wrist, immediately feeling its stabilizing influence on your temporal senses. The constant background noise of infinite possibility that has plagued you since awakening settles into something more manageable, still present, but organized and comprehensible. Thank you, you say, genuine gratitude coloring your voice. This means more than you know. Actually, Vegapunk grins with the enthusiasm of someone who has spent their life pushing the boundaries of scientific understanding. I think I know exactly what it means. After all, I've spent my career trying to unlock the secrets of time and space. Watching you wield those forces to protect rather than destroy, it reminds me why I became a scientist in the first place. The next few hours pass in a blur of final preparations and emotional farewells. Each of Vegapunk's satellite bodies expresses their gratitude in their own unique way. Edison with technical specifications for temporal theory, Atlas with enthusiastic predictions about your future battles, Shaka with philosophical observations about the nature of time and free will. But it's the moment when the Thousand Sunny finally sets sail that truly crystallizes your transformation. Standing at the ship's stern, watching Egghead Island shrink toward the horizon, you feel the weight of responsibility that comes with your new role as the crew's temporal guardian. No regrets? Zoro asks, his characteristic directness cutting straight to the heart of the matter as he joins you at the rail. None, you reply without hesitation. For the first time in my life, I know exactly where I belong. Good. He nods with approval. Because the Grand Line doesn't give second chances to people who doubt themselves. But if you're committed to protecting this crew, then you'll have my sword beside you in any fight. Similar conversations unfold over the following days as the Sunny carries you toward new adventures. Sanji presents you with specially prepared meals designed to help your body recover from the strain of awakened devil fruit usage. Chopper conducts careful examinations to ensure your temporal manipulation isn't causing lasting physical damage. Usopp regales you with increasingly elaborate tales of your battle against CP0, each retelling making your victories sound more impressive than the last. But it's during the quiet evening hours, when you and Robin share watch duty under a canopy of stars, that you truly process the magnitude of what has changed. Your awakened abilities allow you to perceive the threads of causality that connect each moment to the next, and what you see fills you with hope rather than fear. The Straw Hats' journey will face challenges that would break lesser crews. You can see the shadows of future conflicts waiting on distant horizons. But you can also see something else. The unbreakable bonds of friendship that will carry them through every trial, the determination that turns impossible dreams into inevitable reality, and the legacy they will leave across the world. What do you see when you look into the future? Robin asks during one of these peaceful watches, her voice carrying curiosity rather than anxiety. Adventure. You answer with a smile that carries the warmth of absolute certainty. Incredible, impossible, beautiful adventure shared with the best family anyone could ask for. And in the gentle rhythm of waves against the Sunny's hull, in the soft breathing of your sleeping crewmates, in the endless expanse of sea and sky that stretches toward tomorrow's horizon, you find a peace that no amount of temporal manipulation could ever create artificially. You are the Straw Hat's temporal guardian, wielder of the awakened Toki Toki no Mi, protector of history's hidden truths. But more importantly, you are exactly where you belong, sailing toward a future that promises wonders beyond imagination. Your journey through time has led you home. So there you have it, your incredible journey as the Straw Hat who took down CP0 at Egghead Island, wielding the legendary power of time itself to protect your newfound family and preserve knowledge that could change the world. From mysterious awakening to triumphant victory, you've experienced what it truly means to find your place among the most legendary pirates in history. What choice would you have made when faced with the world government's most elite assassins? Would you have risked everything to protect Dr. Vegapunk's research? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this temporal adventure through the One Piece world, make sure to like this video, share it with fellow pirates, and subscribe for more incredible isekai journeys that put you at the center of the action.